This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard every Saturday from 11 to noon. At Bumper to Bumper Radio, we're helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. If you've got car questions, we've got answers. So we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR, or you can text questions to us at 411-923, and we are going to help you with some open phones.
Dave, can you pick it up a little bit? You're making me sleepy over there. You're just...
Oh, okay, all right. Well, it's the time of year. I'm looking at my car, and the air conditioning doesn't blow as cold as it used to. The car is a 2011 Honda Element.
Sorry to hear that you're still driving that car, Dave.
I know. I put it up for sale, and nobody wanted to buy it. You know, I don't know why.
It's a fantastic automobile. I don't know. Can't imagine.
Well, I think it's because my air conditioning's not cold enough.
Your what?
My air condition.
Okay.
And I've got it. It's cold. It blows cold, but it's just not real crisp and cold like I would like it to be. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking there's people out there that are in the exact same situation as me. They got a car that's 3-4 years old. Air conditioning just isn't what it used to be. It's not as chipper. And they're thinking, what do I do? And I'm thinking they're seeing ads in the paper that say air condition service for $29. And then maybe they're seeing another ad that says air condition service for $150. And
those $150 guys must be
they're going to be making a lot of money.
Yeah, because this other guy does it for $29.
So I thought we would educate the consumer today on air-conditioned service, because maybe you're driving around and it's just not that impressive. And it's not even hot yet, because when it gets hot, it's going to be 110 degrees, 115 degrees. And if you think it's wimpy now, it's going to be really wimpy then. And now is the time to deal with your air condition. And when you go to the shop in July and they're busy and they're up to their elbows in broken cars, you got to get in there. You're going to lose your car. It's going to be there a lot longer. But springtime is a great time to get your car in.
Well, yeah. And Dave, this whole air conditioning.
Get your air conditioned service.
I emphasize air conditioning. It's starting to happen now. So your classic example, 4-year-old car, 3 to 5-year-old car, whatever it is. In a perfect world, your car will not ever leak any of what we call the Freon. We're going to just say Freon, not R134A and R12.
It's refrigerant, since
Coke.
We're talking about
it's Coke
terminology.
in the Coke, Pepsi, whatever. We're just going to refer as give me a Coke. We're going to say give me Freon. So probably the most common thing is that the car is low on Freon or refrigerant is the most common deal.
Also referred to as charge, low on charge. I hear people say that.
Whatever, yeah. So your 3 to 5-year-old car, again, in a perfect world, it's not going to have leaked, but it may leak a couple ounces, 3, 4, 5, 8 ounces. On a newer system, let's just talk about a car less than 10 years old.
Hold on, a soda has 12 ounces in it, so right. I'm trying to figure that out. Ounces of Freon. Well, how big is the system?
On a new car, a little Honda, say, for example, or Prius, you're going to have a system that holds 8 ounces maybe of refrigerant. Less than a pound. You caught me swallowing there. Less than 1 pound, say. 10 ounces of refrigerant. So you get off 2 ounces, you're talking a pretty high percentage
20%
of the amount of the charge or of the Freon level. An older car, let's take my Excursion, for example. That thing holds like 5.5 pounds or something.
You're not going to miss 2 ounces.
No, not really. Not in that one. So now here you are. So you have this car that doesn't make the air isn't as cold as you think it should be. So now you've got to pick a shop. You've got to pick a price point. Dave you talked about the $29 thing. That's usually an inspection, and you usually see that $29 coupon from a tire store, from a mass merchandiser, from a multi-store chain or something like that. You typically don't see those out of the mom and pop shops because, in my opinion, that's the coupon to get the guy that has the broken air conditioner to come in to maybe think that he's going to get the answers or the fix for $29. And quite honestly, a lot of times people have a problem. They need a large repair. So that service, that $29 deal, really doesn't buy you anything.
Something like this. it's broke.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we looked at your thing and it's broken, so now we need to charge it. At my shop, we start off, everything gets a charge because you have to have the exact amount of refrigerant in there in order to fundamentally test and see if the system's working the way it's supposed to be, see if it's holding a charge, see if and see what's in there. So your new car might have a pound, and we go recover. We're going to weigh and measure what came out of there, and maybe we only took out 12 ounces. So you're low 4 ounces on refrigerant. Now we've got to recharge that and then test the system. The only way we can do a really good test is to make sure it's got what it wants or what it's designed to have in the system. And you can't guess on that. We used to just, we'll shoot a little bit in, we'll watch the gauges. They're much more technologically advanced now than even...
Yeah, now you're talking about a 10-ounce system and being off by an ounce. You might not see that in the gauge. So you gotta suck it dry. So we call it evacuate and recharge is really the name for it. And the other thing that we do in an AC service, if you go in and you're low, well, we need to put some dye in the system at the same time because there may be a chance that it's blowing warm now. They're going to look and see if there's any visible leaks. If they don't see any visible leaks, they're going to put dye in it, evacuate it, recharge it, and then if it's blowing warm again 3-4 weeks down the road, well, hey, now we've got dye in the system so we can shoot a UV light on there and find out where it's leaking from.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing that happens. So even if you do go in for this AC service, let's skip this $29 inspection. Yeah, it's tore up. That's what you get for $29.
Right.
But the AC service, and I would pick as an average for a good AC service where they're evacuating, they're recharging, they're spending some time with your system, $150. That would be, some shops may be $189, some may be $139. But as an average, I'd say $150 is reasonable.
Yeah, and it's going to be dependent on how much refrigerant your car takes too. We used to sell it by the pound. Now we're selling it by the ounce. I mean, it's really right down there to the gnats behind on how much this system should be charged. But then that's only the first part. So here you go, Dave. We might go in there and we might go to service the car, but encompassed in that service, there's other things besides hooking up the machine and taking out. We want to check and make sure the fan motors are working. We're going to do that by turning the air conditioner on and make sure the electric fans for the radiator are coming on.
The condenser fan that's up there in the front of the vehicle, that's where the refrigerant's cooled outside the vehicle.
That's like your fan outside your house on your air conditioning unit that's either on your roof or on the side. That's the condenser coil.
Now, inside the car, we've got the blower motor. Mm-hmm. So it's more of a squirrel cage type of apparatus versus a propeller type apparatus.
But most of the time, that complaint, people are going to come in and say, my air conditioning is just not blowing. And so we have that little interview at the counter, and part of that conversation is we're going to ask you, is it cool but not cold? For example, when you leave your house and it's 75 or 80 degrees in the morning, is it nice and cold, but when you come out from work, it's not nice and cold. It's just cool. That is indicative of a charge level. Or we might have someone saying, it's just not blowing.
Well, if you don't know what your air condition needs and you're looking for a shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. It is always a topic in April. Air condition. Yeah. It's time for air condition. And one of the other things that's a topic in in April is batteries. And I'm excited to announce that Interstate Battery has joined the Bumper to Bumper family, and we're really excited to have them on board because Interstate Battery is one of those batteries you can find just about anywhere in town.
Well, you can. I mean, Interstate Batteries, they're everywhere, Dave. I mean, when I started working on cars, here's a kid, they were around. I mean, back east is where I really started seeing them. They're all over the country. If you have an Interstate Battery in your car, it's very easy to find a replacement if you ever have a problem. The shops, I mean, many of the bumper-to-bumper shops carry the batteries. They're very good quality.
Every shop I've ever worked in had Interstate. I never worked at a shop that didn't have Interstate batteries. And what's cool is we've got two local distributors that distribute them out to the shops, Billy Kahn and David Walworth, and they service all the shops that sell Interstate batteries. And it's a topic that everyone gets a battery at some point, so...
Yeah, you're buying one. Someday, eventually, your car will need a replacement battery. Chances are it's going to be an Interstate. You'll probably find that in more shops across the country than any other brand. I mean, they're the number one brand of replacement battery. And what's cool, too, is those distributorships. When you're buying an Interstate battery, you're just not supporting corporate America in the boardroom wherever Johnson Controls or Interstate Batteries run. Like you said, Dave, they're local people. Billy's there's one guy that owns the west side of town, another guy on the east side of town, and then they service all the repair shops. And so when you're buying a product like that, you're still really buying locally. You're buying from local people who are in the community, and then they have their battery stores and those other things that they do too.
Well, they got a 30-month free replacement warranty on their Megatron battery. And the thing about batteries, if you got a battery that you've had 3 or 4 years, they never go out at a convenient time. So April, if you just want to go buy a battery just because you know it's been in there for 4 years, you're living on borrowed time, go buy yourself an Interstate battery. So when we come back, we've got open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277 KTAR. You can also text us at 411-923 or listen to Matt and Davey, our KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
Have you played Ambiente at Camelback Golf Club yet? Ambiente is the $10 million redesign by the world-renowned Herds and Fry Environmental Golf Design Group that's getting rave reviews for good reason. 18 breathtaking, challenging holes with desert landscaping and native grasses nestled in the heart of Paradise Valley in the shadow of Mummy Mountain. And right now, when you book Ambiente through camelbackgolf.com, you'll receive a bounce-back round to play the Valley favorite Padre course at our member guest rate of just $79. For information or tee times, call 480-596-7050 or visit camelbackgolf.com.
Who can you trust here in the Valley to repair your ride? This is Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we're helping you with your car. At least we hope we're doing that. It is that time of year where the topic is air condition and batteries. So if you've got an air condition question or any question about your car, give us a call at 602-277-5827. Matt, your face is pregnant with thought. What do you want to say to me?
Well, when we start talking about air conditioning first, air conditioning, Dave, and then we start talking about batteries. And I know you probably don't do a whole lot of AC service in your shop, but I know you disconnect a lot of batteries. How many times do you get a car where you've done a transmission in it, and all of a sudden they come in and they say, my air conditioning is not blowing cold ever since you put the transmission in it? Or it happens at my shop. I was here and I had a battery put in my car. There was nothing wrong with my car until you put a battery in it, and now you broke my air conditioner.
That's the guy. His first name is Everett, and then his last name is Sinchu.
Everett
Sinchu worked on my car. My air condition doesn't work. But batteries, a lot of times, they go out like a light bulb.
But that's not where I was going, Dave. You disconnect the battery on some of these cars that have electronic controls.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're right. The
going.
air conditioning doesn't work. Now, I want to get back to the AC service for a little bit before we take the calls, because in that case, someone might come in and say, my air conditioning doesn't work. Maybe Harry homeowner just changed his battery at home, and now his AC doesn't work. Well, we talk about the charge level. That's just part of the system. You have to have a system that has a full charge in it, but now you have to tell that cold air where to go. And that's where we use the duct work, and they call them blend doors and mode doors and ducts, and the fans are all blowing everywhere. Those are computer controlled, and when the battery gets disconnected, sometimes they lose their home, or you maybe have this clicking noise underneath your dash, and you're noticing that the air is blowing out your feet.
That's what that is?
Well, that's that motor. A lot of times that's bad. So we have to have a charge. We have to tell the air where to go, and then we have to have the condenser fans and stuff working. So it's not always just a simple service. I can talk about my sister's car later after we do some of these phone calls. She had 3 things wrong with her air conditioning.
Well, you guys can help us out. Matt and I are having a debate right now. He gets mad when I call it air condition because he thinks it's called air conditioning. And I just think air conditioning is more appropriate here in the Valley. Maybe somewhere else it's air conditioning. I know you spent some time in Virginia. Maybe that's where you got messed up. But we're going to go to Maria in Tempe before you can respond on a 1996 Jeep Grand Cherokee. How can we help you, Maria? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
But hang on, Maria. No, go ahead, Maria. I'll tell Dave how he's wrong later. Go for it.
So I have a 1996 Jeep Grand Cherokee. I went to get the oil changed on it, and the guy said, why don't you leave it here, and we'll call you when it's done. I thought, well, I told him I just wanted the oil changed. So 2 hours later, he called me up, and he says, well, you need to replace the transfer case assembly, and along with a long list of it, which accumulated to almost $7,000. And so obviously I told him no, but my question is, he said that was a safety issue that needs to be replaced right away. How do you know when they replace the transfer case assembly?
Well, Maria, real quick though, are you having any problems with the car? Is there any, we're going to take this into a lot of different areas, but are you having anything with the way the car drives or feels or
No.
Nothing happening?
Mm-mm.
Well, Dave, you see transfer case repairs in your shop because they usually come in and there's something broken on the car, right?
Yeah, it's broken. It's making noise. It would be something you would generally know about. Sometimes they leak and people don't know they leak because they don't hold that much fluid. Mm-hmm. And so maybe it's out of fluid and it has a hole in it or something. But in a 96 Cherokee, why was it a safety concern?
Well, and I want to back that up a little bit and go all the way back to, I'm going to have an oil change. They want me to leave the car for a couple hours, but all I want is the oil change, okay? And that's okay. But I want to let Maria know how we get here sometimes. So, yes, I understand you only want an oil change. The shop's going to look at your car. We're going to do the oil change. Every shop does things like air the tires, top off the fluids under the hood. We're going to check and make sure there's nothing falling off the car. And I could say on a 96 Jeep, I bet it would be completely plausible that somebody could find several $1,000s worth of repairs that need to be done to that car. On the other hand, when the shop has the car and you say, I just want an oil change, what that means is I really don't want to get anything else fixed, but I think people need to be careful because as a professional, it's our job. When your doctor goes, you don't go to the doctor and say, I have a cold. They still check your blood pressure. They're still doing these things. You don't say, I just want my cold checked. Because, in fact, if you have a tire that's about to blow on your car, you don't want the guy to say, well, she just wants an oil change. I'm not going to tell her about that. So it's not unreasonable to get a list of something. But what's important is how that shop lets you know that you have a problem or explains to you why it's a safety issue or shows you something.
And that's something, if it is, a lot of times if it is a safety issue, that term shows you. This car is 20 years old, basically. Mm-hmm. It's probably got 200,000 miles on it. I can look at any car with 200,000 miles on it and find a grocery list. But there's a point on a car. People write up a book. You got to know everything that's wrong with the car. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff, and not everything needs to be fixed.
Exactly.
Not everything needs to be fixed. Which items are important? What is going to stop you on the side of the road? What is going to be a safety concern? What can you live with and live without? That type of thing. That's where you got to ask questions. Well, why is the transfer case bad? Mm-hmm. Can you show me why the transfer case is bad? And I think the auto shop is intimidating. People hate to do that. Yeah. And I don't blame them.
And show me why. And what's going to happen if I don't fix it? So, Maria, for you, what I think you're in order for is a second opinion. It's a transfer case issue, which is essentially a transmission issue. You're in Tempe. Go to Tri-City Transmission. They can look at that transfer case and tell you if it really needs a repair. They can look at the rest of that list and also give you a second opinion as to if any of that other work really needs to be done or not.
Thanks so much for the call, Maria. 602-277-5827. We're going to sneak in Kyle from Scottsdale on a 2010 Ford Escape. Kyle, you're on Bumper to Bumper. How can we help you?
Hey, how you doing? I got my 2010 Ford Escape. It's got 135,000 miles on it. I go to Sholo and back all the time. And I just noticed when I'm sitting at a stop and it's in drive, it's starting to make a shaking noise to where it was noticeable. Not shaking, really bad, but just you can tell that it's just not normal. And you put it in neutral, and it calms down to like where it should be normally. You put it back in drive, and it's just starting. It just the car shakes a little. And I'm just wondering, is that common on these, or in the old days you think you need a tune-up or something, but on a newer car like this, what do you think that is?
That's common to all kind of vehicles. So I hear that all the time. Hey, we put the car. Sometimes people think there's something wrong with their transmission per se, but when you put it into gear, you're loading the engine up a little bit. Where when it's in park and neutral, there's no load on it, and so when you load it up a little bit, when those engine mounts get real old and sagged and they're laying, basically the rubber's gone and the engine's almost laying on the frame, that is when that's going to show up. And that's not all that uncommon. So the engine may not be running quite perfect, but at the same time, we probably have some mounts that got 100,000 miles on them.
Well, yeah, and a lot of times people don't notice that when they, they don't notice the motor mounts are bad. I'll go jump in a car a lot of times, and jump in it. I'm like, oh my God, you don't feel that engine mounts? You just go step on the gas for the first time, and bam, you feel this thud against the floorboard. So Kyle, next time you get in the car and you're backing out, and you put it in neutral, then wait a second, and then when you just kind of goose the gas a little, you might actually feel the thing shifting around, and maybe you'll feel that broken mount. But they don't have to be broken to cause vibrations either.
So one way we check that is just by jacking the motor up just a little bit, see if that vibration goes away. So anyway, when we come back, we're going to take Todd, George, Steve, and Ken and open lines at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, Bumper to Bumper Radio.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper to bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE MasterTechs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Ever wonder how the people that built those old castles kept the rain out? I don't think they did. But let's face it, your home is your castle, and you can protect it because you have Kaiko Roofing on your side and on your roof. But don't wait for an emergency. Those other castles have been around for hundreds of years. If your roof is more than 10 years old, you really should have the trusted professionals at Kaiko give you a free roof checkup today. Flat, foam, tile, or shingles, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. And when you invite Kaiko up on your roof for that free checkup, if you don't need anything done, they'll tell you. That's the kind of trust that results in half of Kaiko's business coming from referrals or repeat customers. Call 602-944-4600 or check KaikoRoofing.com for all the rest, including financing options. Kaiko Roofing, they're crazy about quality.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard every Saturday from 11 to noon right here. And Matt, today is like text day. We got flooded with text questions. We've got to get to Steve, George, Todd, and that's Ted.
That's Ted.
Ted with 2 Ds. Mm-hmm. And Ken. And your text.
Would you like to borrow my reading glasses again, Dave?
I think I need them, but we do got some questions. We do have. We don't got. We do got some questions about batteries and air condition, but we got some exciting news. We had a Better Business Bureau Ethics Award winner that's a member of Bumper to Bumper Radio, and that's Kurt's Auto Repair.
That's 2 years in a row we've had somebody from Bumper to Bumper bring home
Man,
the
if there's any shop that's more deserving, it would be Kurt's Auto Repair. Not only are they great people, they're experts at what they do, which is sometimes, you can be honest, that's great, but are you good at what you do?
Yeah.
Because some people, they don't do a very good job. They're honest, but they don't do a good job because they're inept. So people think they're dishonest, but not only are they honest, they're good at what they do, and they're like family. That's the thing I like about that shop.
Well, I called Kurt and Kathy yesterday to congratulate them when I found out they had won the Better Business Bureau Ethics Award, and it feels good to be aligned with somebody like Kurt and Kathy Rock. Like you said, Dave, they're just good people. If you hear people talk about their family business and family owned and family, that is truly a family owned. That is a mom and pop and son and cousin. That is if there was ever a family business, you're going to go to Webster Dictionary. It's going to say Kurt's Auto Repair. So
that's it. So that's exciting. And then the introduction of Interstate Batteries to the Bumper to Bumper radio family. We're excited to have Interstate aboard and all the shops that carry Interstate Battery and do a great job for our listeners. I do have an email here. A lady says she's got a Ford Explorer with only 6,000 miles on it. It's only 7 months old, and she was at the dealership, and they said, you need an AC service for $79. Gosh, I think that thing is still under warranty, don't you?
Well, no, what she said I think is her Yeah, you're right. I thought 2011. Yeah, that's the dealership trying to sell you something. Why do you I guess the commercial air conditioning, Dave, you've been in that business, commercial air conditioning. Do you really need to have someone come out every year and blow out the deal and do whatever? I don't think there's anything to that service for $79 that they're going to do. And I don't agree. A lot of times you hear people say, well, what's the symptom? What symptom are you going to fix with that fuel injection cleaning service or with that whatever? A lot of times you don't want to wait for a symptom to fix your car or do preventative maintenance. But air conditioning is one of those things. If someone's telling you, oh, God, you should do an AC service, well, you're really going to be the judge of that. If there's nothing wrong with your 7-month-old, 6,000-mile or whatever that Explorer is, no, you don't need to do anything. And when the guys over there trying to blow that sunshine up the backside, you got to question out everything else that they're telling you too. So just like you said in the text.
The other text I got here, we'll get to some phone calls, is a Cavalier 2.2 liter misfires at idle or at a red light, but it runs great down the road. Every now and then it dies at a light. It's got new spark plugs and ignition coils. What's wrong, Matt? He says, what's wrong? Do you think you could figure it out from there?
Well,
they're pretty good.
No, it sounds like they did the easy stuff. They put some spark plugs in it, got a coil on it. It stalls at idle. Makes me wonder if there's a vacuum leak.
Yep.
I would imagine if it's stalling at idle and it's misfiring, there is some sort of check engine light on was it a 2000? Yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna there should be something there. If there's no fault codes, you're gonna have a probably vacuum leak. You could have a fuel delivery issue. That'll get me on my soapbox a little bit, Dave. There's these shops that can fix everything now. They used to only fix brakes.
Fuel delivery issue? Do they deliver fuel to your shop?
Yes, they do.
You don't have to go to the gas station.
So you have these shops that fix everything now. They used to only fix brakes, but now they're auto service experts, so they only did transmissions. Well, we talk about going to a shop that can take care of everything for you. We had actually a customer and friend who went to one of those shops because they can fix their check engine light. And after they did $500 worth of work, they said, sorry, that simple engine misfire, everybody thinks it's a spark plug or ignition coil. After $500 of the work and replacing some sensors and spark plugs, they said, oh boy, we don't have the equipment to do all the testing. You got to go to the Honda dealer. This is a computer problem. Well, this car had a mechanical problem with the engine. The shop took $500 from them to fix their simple misfire, allegedly. And in fact, they can't do the work. They didn't need a Honda computer. It was a mechanical problem with the engine. So
that's that competence thing that I was just talking about. Some people are inept at fixing cars, but they're still in the business, and they're still, some of us graduate top of the class, some bottom of the class, some of us never went to class. we could all still be called technicians.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but in that car, you guys say, what is it though? This particular Honda needed a camshaft. I mean, you could have anything from a big time $2,000 mechanical failure down to just a simple vacuum leak. Is my point.
I know which car you're talking about.
It's all over the board.
So we are going to go with Ted in Gilbert. It looks like he's got a 2006 Mazda 3 automatic. How can we help you, Ted? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
How's it going, guys?
Fantastic.
Hey, I have this Mazda 3, which has been great. Pulled into the grocery store. Everything was working fine. When we came out, the automatic transmission warning light came on, and I was in limp mode, where basically it shifted pretty hard into reverse and into gear, but once you hit the gas, it felt like I was driving a golf cart. Just doing some Google searches and looking at the air codes, I started kind of narrowing it down that maybe it wasn't an actual transmission problem, but maybe more of a computer problem. I was wondering if you guys have any insight on that to where I can start, because
I will confirm. I think I know what's going on with your car. I mean, it's just a guesstimation. If you were telling me this Mazda 3, is that these transmissions are computer controlled. So we have transmission problems and we have transmission control problems. You have a transmission control problem, and there's a control module on those Mazdas that sits right on top of the transmission, and they like to go bad, and it went out like a light bulb for you. And you said it's in limp mode. I don't know if I can help with a limp, but what limp mode means is it's going to be in third gear, and it's going to elevate the line pressure to max pressure. So when you put it in reverse, it slams into gear. And then when you go to leave, it's starting out in third gear, so it's going to take off real slow and real mushy. So if you were able to, throw those diagnostic trouble codes into Google Gnostics, you probably found a lot of information about that. And it's a pretty commonly stocked part at the local dealership. And if you're one of those guys that's kind of handy, you may be able to take it on yourself. It's an expensive guess if you're not right. So you could have a bad wire, it would do the same thing, or you could have a bad transmission control module. So hope that helps you out.
Does it have anything to do with the solenoids in the transmission?
Well, I mean, the solenoids, you would check the solenoids because that could cause issues as well. But there's all kinds of things that can go wrong. I just happen to know that pattern failure was literally in my shop like last week, so it's fresh in my mind.
Perfect. I'm one of those guys that get in trouble with Google sometimes.
Well, give it a try, and if it doesn't work, you can come see us at Tri-City Transmission. We'll get it figured out.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call, Ted. Well, Matt, what were you thinking
on the transmission? I wasn't even paying attention. You started talking about that. I was just doing my notes and doing some texting, about my soccer game later today. So I knew Ted was in good hands, but we haven't had much feedback because, again, Dave, as usual, I believe you're wrong about, you always say the car, my air condition. It is air conditioning. So we need some feedback again. Does your car have air condition or does it have air conditioning?
Are you going to come over to my house and look at my air conditioner, or are you going to come over and look at my air conditioning?
I'm going to come over and look at your air conditioner.
Air conditioner.
Yes, that's what I am going to do.
I failed English, and I can barely spell, but you know what? Somehow I managed to get through life.
I can see that Ken, though, is next in Glendale with his Explorer Sport Track. Ken, what's up? What can we help you with?
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
My wife has it's her car, and basically it would stop, like not stop, but like she'd park in a parking lot to go into a hobby store or something, and she'd come back out and it wouldn't start. The lights would come on the dash, everything would come on, but she'd go to turn the key in the ignition and it just wouldn't do anything. So I took it to the shop that I go to, and they're on a shop and everything, and they put it on their scanner and everything. They said that it might have something to do with the anti-theft thing, where you put the key in there and it recognizes the chip in the key or whatnot. And he said sometimes the keys go bad, sometimes the actual reader or whatever that's in the car goes bad. So he said, take it home and try it. Next time it does it, try it. And it just happens intermittently. So it might not happen for a month, but then it might happen the next day or the next week or something.
Sure. Okay, go ahead.
And anyway, we tried switching out keys because we have two keys for it, and that didn't make any difference. So
Is
we
there
can't
any-
figure it out.
Did he say there was any reason he was leaning in the direction of that key? Was there any codes for theft deterrent or anything like that?
Well, he said they put it on their machine, but it wasn't like when I took it in there, it wasn't doing. It wasn't not starting. It was starting when I took it in there.
Yeah, see, that's going to be the challenge on this one is getting to act up while you're actually doing some testing. Before he said it, my first thing I was going to say is let's trade keys. I mean, that's the first thing, and obviously that didn't work. The way that works, and they're not all the same, so I'm going to speak in general terms for all the technicians that are listening that will send me text messages to tell me I'm wrong. But there's basically an antenna near the key somewhere, and it's going to read the signal that the transponder, that the little chip in the key is going to put out, and it's going to match those up and say, yes, this is the right key for this car, go ahead and start. That little transponder or the antenna that's in the steering column there around the key, that could be bad. The computer could be bad. The trick is getting it to happen while we have a scan tool hooked up and we can see that it's recognizing that this is the right antenna. Those intermittent problems are very challenging. So, I mean, you're probably going to have to part with the car.
I'd just sell it and make somebody else's problem. That's what I would do.
Cherry one owner, right? Oh, and I want to tell my friend Dave Martin that, yes, my phone is muted. Thanks for calling. So, good question, Ken. Good luck fixing it. Sounds like the guys who gave you the advice are on the right track. Just hopefully they can catch it for you when it's acting up.
For sure. Well, I got a text here, Matt. I have a 2005 F-150. It's got a 5.4 Triton. Makes noise that sounds like an exhaust leak, and I have heard that it may be caused from a loose spark plug or part in back of engine. It seems that I have heard this same noise on many different Fords. Seems a common noise. What do you suggest? It has 6...
That's a lot of miles if I'm looking at that.
Yeah, 637,000 miles.
Yes, it's hard to tell what that is, 67,000 miles, the way the text comes through. It broke up. But it doesn't... If you had a spark plug blow out, what he's talking about is these Ford engines, and some of the model years, they only had like 3 or 4 threads that held in the spark plugs. I mean, just a very, very small cross-section of thread there.
It was a little bit of an engineering faux pas.
Yeah, and then the spark plug would get some carbon on it. Maybe you go to take the spark plug out and you strip that thing out, or sometimes there's just not enough meat there. Maybe the last guy who put a spark, and this might be a factory spark plug, I don't know. But the last guy that put it in over-tightened it and weakened those threads, and that blows out. So that's going to be running. That's a V8. So every 8th revolution of the engine, you're going to have a... you're going to have a loud noise. The car's not going to be running good. You're really going to know it. The other noise, if you just have a little... and it kind of goes away after the car warms up, that's not going to be a spark plug blown out. That's more of just an exhaust manifold leak or something.
He said it. He's heard it before in other Fords, but that little exhaust leak noise is common on a lot of cars.
Yeah.
You start it up in the morning, and it tick, 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 a little bit of a, and then as the vehicle heats up and that exhaust expands, it closes up the hole, and it quits the exhaust leak. So pretty common on all cars, not necessarily common to Fords.
Yeah. All right, Dave. I think when we get back, Paul, George, Jeremy, not necessarily in that order. It looks like George will be the first one up. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys. We'll be right back.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
Ever wonder how the people that built those old castles kept the rain out? I don't think they did. But let's face it, your home is your castle, and you can protect it because you have Kaiko roofing on your side and on your roof. But don't wait for an emergency. Those other castles have been around for hundreds of years. If your roof is more than 10 years old, you really should have the trusted professionals at Kaiko give you a free roof checkup today. Flat, foam, tile, or shingles, Kaiko handles them all. From a small leak to a complete new roof, Kaiko has you covered. And when you invite Kaiko up on your roof for that free checkup, if you don't need anything done, They'll tell you. That's the kind of trust that results in half of Kaiko's business coming from referrals or repeat customers. Call 602-944-4600 or check KaikoRoofing.com for all the rest, including financing options. Kaiko Roofing. They're crazy about quality.
Round up the kids and grab your clubs. Family Sunday Fun Day is back at Wigwam Golf. That's right. Every Sunday after 3 p.m., kids can play one round for free with the purchase of an adult round at only $25. The entire family can enjoy a game without the worry of pace of play. Book your next round by calling the golf shop at 623-935-9414 or visit wigwamgolf.com today.
When you're searching for an automotive service relationship, quality and trust matters. Hi, Dave Denman here from Dave's Car Care, where we've been servicing our customers from the same location with the same ownership for over 32 years. We're on the northwest corner of 51st Avenue in Peoria. At Dave's Car Care, we strive to earn your trust every time you turn the key. With a friendly and courteous staff that has earned us a A+ rating from BBB, AAA approved auto repair, because we really do practice what we preach. We provide nationwide warranty, shuttle service, available loaner cars, and financing options to make your experience with us convenient. We also give you the peace of mind that your job gets done right the first time, with ASC certified technicians at a clean, state-of-the-art facility. We're your neighborhood service solution for all makes and models and a great alternative to the dealership. Dave's Car Care, where quality has always and still does matter. Check us out at davescarcareaz.com.
Hi, Lisa Henry with Russ Lyons Sotheby's International Realty. Have you been thinking maybe the time is right to move, but you're not sure if you have enough equity in your home or if it really is a good time? Well, home values have increased significantly over the past few years, and interest rates are still historically low. For how long? No one knows. But for every 1% increase in the interest rate, the result is about a 10% loss in purchasing power. So it might be a really great time to sell your home and either upsize or downsize to a new home while the interest rates are still low. Contact me via my website at lisareneehenry.com or direct at 480-330-9530 for a no-obligation market valuation on your home and to hear about our global online marketing plan designed to sell your home quickly for top dollar. Again, that's lisareneehenry.com, 480-330-9530. Come experience the difference a truly customer-focused real estate agent can make.
This is Bumper to Bumper Radio, KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Alrighty, Dave, we better get busy here. Welcome back to Bumper Radio. I'm Matt Allen. He is Dave Riccio. We've got like 5 or 6 phone calls lined up here, and we've got like 5 or 6 minutes to get them done. So buckle up. We're going to go with Jose in Peoria. He's been on hold. I thought it was the longest. Jose, what's up with your Explorer?
How you doing today? Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
It's a 2002 Ford Sport Track. I changed the thermostat, and now the cover's cracked, and I was told that I have to replace the whole housing. Can I just replace the top cap, or do I?
I would just do the whole thing. That's a pretty common problem. We start to see more and more of these cars with plastic or composite components, and they crack and warp over time. A lot of times you go to replace them, and you cannot. They just won't work. So go get you might be able to get it in Dorman. You might be able to get one at Napa or Motorcraft and get the whole assembly and replace it.
Is composite another way of saying cheap crap?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
No.
A lot more plastic these days.
No. All righty. Next, we've got George in Mesa with 99 Buick Century. George, how can we help you? You're on Bumper to Bumper.
All right. This is my daughter's car, and I was changing the oil on it. And out of the blue, her blower motor comes on and runs for about 10 seconds, and then goes off. And as I was working on it, it did it about every 20 minutes. It would come on for about 10 seconds and go off. And I don't understand why it's doing that.
The key's not in the ignition. It's just sitting there running. The blower motor just turns on for no reason.
Well, the car is not running.
Right. Where's the key and is it in the ignition and with the ignition off or on or what?
No, the key was not in the ignition and it was not on. It just comes the blower motor comes on by itself and runs for about 10 seconds and then shuts off.
Okay, so we want to know what's happening there. The first place we're going to look is a wiring diagram. What's happening, that blower motor is getting power to it when it shouldn't. It's typically it may always have power and then get a ground. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you've got to have power and you've got to get a ground. It has one of those things all the time, and then through a switch or through a relay, the car's adding the other to give it a variable speed. Probably the ground. I'd be looking at a relay or a resistor. Dave?
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah? Are we going too fast?
I was actually not paying attention, so you go ahead and go to the next phone call.
All righty. Then let's see here. If I can do this right, then we're going to get Jeremy in surprise. He's got a 2008 Toyota Sienna.
Yes, sir. I've been driving this 2008 Toyota Sienna for 95,000 miles as a sewing machine.
Don't drive so much.
I understand. I bought this car. From the time I bought it, took it back to the dealer. You crank it up in the morning when it's cold, and all the neighbors are concerned about me driving away in it because it's so loud going down the road. Once it warms up, it tends to just be fine.
So it's a noise issue? Loud? Does it sound loud like a lawnmower? I mean, can you describe? And you can even make the noise for me if you want.
It sounds like it's coming from the lower end of the engine. It's an actual the tapping noise is just really loud in this thing when it's cold. And the best I can find out from the internet is that Toyota changed the pistons on this thing to some sort of a different shape, and it takes a while for it to warm up before it seats.
You know, if you've driven it this far and it hasn't launched or blown up yet, you're probably okay. I guess the good thing is it's been documented from the manufacturer, but I think what he's talking about, and I've heard about this, and I mean it's happened over the years in various different cars, but it could be wrist pin slapping or the pistons. I'm not going to get all technical and engineering on you, but just the way the pistons fit into the cylinders.
You can if you wanted to.
I know, not today anyway. And they just slap the side of the cylinder walls and cause some funky noise, and some of those are just characteristics, and it's not going to wear. It's just brutally noisy. So don't worry about it.
Not falling apart, and I guess you tell your neighbors to put some earplugs on or turn their music up, and that goes away. Let's sneak in Paul in Mesa on an 01 Chevy Malibu. How can we help you, Paul? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Great show.
Thank you.
Quick question for you. I have an AC fan blower switch underneath the dash, basically under the glove box that I replaced, and I'm not getting any air coming out of my vents at all.
Does the fan blow?
It does not.
Okay, so let's back up a minute. You replaced that switch or resistor because the fan wasn't blowing, so you have to.
That's correct. So I'm wondering if did I maybe get a bad switch, or could that be a blower motor itself?
I'd be learning toward the motor.
Yeah, I mean the one thing to bypass the resistor in a lot of cases, you just go straight to high because that doesn't go through the resistor. It bypasses the resistor. You got full power, you've got full ground, and that blower motor should be working. I'd maybe put the old resistor back in, turn it on, and go give that blower motor a whack with the end of a little ball peen hammer or the handle of a screwdriver, and maybe you can get that thing to spin up and start working again. Otherwise,
now, I did buy the resistor motor at a big box store. It wasn't quite configured. It didn't look the same as the factory one I pulled out.
That may or may not matter. They change the design to improve the function, or they've found the problems over the year. They can consolidate some part numbers. I wouldn't be terribly concerned about that. But since it didn't help, again, I'd go put the original one back in, start over again, and work your way through it.
Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks, Bree, for running the dials and screening our calls. If you're looking for a friendly, honest, competent shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. While you're there, be sure to join the Bumper to Bumper Radio family on Facebook. Remember never to text and drive. From all the shops at Bumper to Bumper Radio, have a great, safe weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions, for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper-to-bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE Master Techs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, oh yeah, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee.